about this one this week, guys. I know I say that about every Sunday story that I tell, but they're all super exciting and super interesting, and I think they're really cool. So, with that being said, our story this week is going to be Noah's Ark. Now, I know that everybody has heard the story, almost everybody, most people have heard the story of Noah's Ark before. However, I have some really cool friends that I get to share during this story as well. So, our story this week is going to start with a man named Noah. And Noah was a righteous man, blameless among everybody, and he walked faithfully in God. And that was pleasing to God because everybody else in the world was wicked and evil and violent. And that really was disappointing to God. So Noah found favor in God, and God said to Noah, I'm going to put an end to everybody. I'm going to kill everybody, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. So God was really disappointed with how humans were treating other humans, and he was going to put an end to it. And so he said, surely I will destroy them and the earth. So he's going to destroy the entire earth and all of the people in it, except Noah and his family, because Noah found grace in God. And so God gives directions to Noah to build an ark. He says, you're going to build it out of cypress wood, and you are going to build it 300 cubits long and 30 cubits wide and 30 cubits high. Excuse me. Make a roof for it, leaving below the roof an opening of 1 cubit high, and put a door in the side of the ark and make it lower and middle, or make lower, middle, and upper decks. So there were 3 floors in this ark, which most houses don't have 3 floors unless you count your attic. So 3 floors in this ark, right? And he said, God goes on to say, I'm going to bring a flood to destroy every living thing on earth, right? And so Noah started to build the ark, right? And so he was building this ark, and it took a very, very, very long time to build this ark, right? And so Noah, despite everybody pointing at him and laughing and making fun of him, decided to build this ark. And so Noah was 600 years old when the flood finally came. So he was like 600, he was building a boat at 600 years old, which is crazy. It's crazy to think about, because my grandparents aren't 600 years old, and I don't think they could build a boat. So with that being said, the floods came. But before the floods came, Noah was directed to get 2 of every creature onto this boat. So he had really big animals like elephants and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. He had really small animals like, oops, my sweet little mice friends here, right? And he even had animals that were in between, like ducks and cats. There are some small cats and birds. And so everything, every living animal, living creature was on this boat, right? And so, first of all, I don't know if you guys have ever been in a barn, but barns stink because animals poop and just smell bad in general. And so, just imagine how bad this boat smelled. Not a good time. So, they were on this boat for 40 days and 40 nights. And everybody was on the boat, and God reached down and shut the door to the boat. And so the flood came, and it started raining and raining and raining. And the boat started floating up, right? As boats do, they float in water. It's a crazy concept. And so after several days, Noah started sending out birds to try to find dry land. And each day they would come back empty-handed. They didn't have anything to signify that there was dry land, right? And so we go on to see that God remembers Noah. The exact words in my Bible say, but God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and livestock that were with him in the ark. And he sent a wind over the earth and the waters receded. So this last time that Noah sends out a bird, he sends out a dove and it brings back an olive branch for him. So the waters are starting to go down and we have signals of dry land. And so finally the boat lands and stops floating because all of the waters have started to evaporate and disappear. And so after that, Noah unloads the boat, gets some fresh air, lets all the animals go free, and he builds an altar to God. And God looks down at Noah, smiles, and said to him, "Never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood. And never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease." So that is God's promise to us. He's basically saying, never again will I flood the earth and get rid of everybody because I don't need to. I have this promise now. And that promise is marked with a rainbow. And I love rainbows. Every time it rains and the sun is shining, I try to find a rainbow. So that is what happens. That was the signifying mark. The promise from God was the rainbow. And that was just him saying, I'm never going to destroy the earth ever again like this. So that is our story for today. Next is